All right. Hey, everybody. I opened the room early because the indexes just had a colossal move due to PPI. PPI, not CPI, producer price index. And oil has an interesting setup as well with UB at the session low, but I'm probably not going to pay much attention to it. So I figured I'd put it up early and and then go back to the indexes pretty quick here. So that's my plan. But for now, I'm also going to stay on this monitor so I can switch instruments without having to start and stop the recording. So this is what the indexes look like. It's a bloodbath at the moment to the downside, which is good. These are the 4 session profiles. You can see we're at the very bottom of all of them. And down here are the 15-second views. We're trying to hold the bottom and not succeeding a few times in a row. So anyway, I was short. I took profits because I kind of want to see how aggressive the buyers step up if they do somewhere. And I'd love to get a micro short on higher up, but I was short the minis, and I had too good of a too much in the bank to try to get more out of it. I just wanted to take profits and then watch because this is very interesting action. So anyway, that's what's going on. We'll watch oil here for a bit, but my focus is really on the indexes. So you've been warned. That's oil. Again, down here, we've got UB at the very low. This is the entire session profile. However, there's a zero print up above us. The pullback here had a bunch of buying. So yeah, bottom line is I'm just really not interested in the oil trade. Price rejector on the last periods. We'll see how it opens. That's really the bottom line. Meanwhile, I want to watch the indexes. Particularly if you watch the bottom 4 panels here, you can get an idea what's happening because we're basically at the lows across the board. And these big session profiles don't tell you much about what's going on. Although it's notable that that there's a price rejector at the very high of the overnight session for ES. So anyway, that's what's up. We'll leave it on this one for now. And I'm going to go back to my main screen and watch my domes. Looks like it's going to take the low out again here, or it's going to try. It's a 28.75, and let's see what happened down there on the footprint down there. It's a decent clean bottom. It's 14 by 0 at the moment. So yeah, it might hold here for a bit. Anyway, I'm not going to play this either way. Again, I was short. I took profits. I'd love to see a really wicked bounce to short the micros if it's a good spot to do it, but I'm not going to do anything down here. We're at a great spot, though. I mean, it could hold here. It also, the bottom could absolutely fall out. That's certainly a possibility. If you look at my posts about the TPO views, we're at the edge of a ginormous cliff across the board. And, that anything could push it over. Yeah, FOMC's tomorrow, options, futures, everything. Witching is on Friday, quad witching. Yeah, if we're going to get a holiday rally, it could be next week. We could get crushed this week. That's a really good possibility. So I am definitely trading short, but not right here for the moment. NQ is leading down. RTY is second. That's good. That also is consistent that we're going down more. So anyway, I wouldn't just hang on to a short here. The potential for a bounce in the indexes is pretty substantial, but I'm not looking to buy that one. That's one I won't scalp. This was just too much of a crush on that PPI news. So we need to let it play out into the open a little bit. We'll see what happens when oil opens in 8 minutes. It's also notable that oil's down 1%. It will probably follow the equities down. So that might be worth a trade there. Yeah, Yeah, I'm watching. That's what I was just talking about, Robert. Here's oil. We'll go back there. Um, Oil has UB at the bottom of the session and a price rejector on this rotation. So yeah, it's a short setup, but again, it took out the zero print too. There was a zero print further up. It got that. So yeah, the sellers are in control there as well. But I like the equities much better today, Robert. And there's definitely a trade there in oil, but there's just too much going on in equities. So this is definitely a short. I'm sure JVC is going to short it to the break of the and there it goes. So it did it before A period though. Now we finally got a clean bottom right there. So that might be the end of that, or maybe it'll push up and reset. Anyway, like I said, I really am not that interested in oil this morning. I mean, we'll watch it a bit. There's a tiny bounce going on over in the equities. There's Jonathan, JVC.
Greetings.
We're talking about oil here. The short that I was hoping would start right at the beginning of A period already happened. And now there's a zero print down there. So I'm not interested in oil today. We were just talking about it because of the setup, but it's much more interesting what's going on over in the indexes. They got crushed on the PPI news and trying to hold a low, but they're all right at the bottom. We had a little attempt at a price rejector on YM, but everything else is hanging on by its fingernails. So yeah, GC is an interesting trade, Robert. I've been watching it to play with the ETFs, but I am not playing it right now. In fact, I don't even think it's on my watch list at the moment. GC, where are you? There it is. Yeah, it's only down. It's 15 points, but it's not 1% yet in gold. So, you're using the ETFs are the way to go for that. But remember, I like and maybe you don't know yet, but in my ETF setups, and I'll talk a lot more about them when I get that up and running. I like to see really extreme inflection points to play. And there's been better ones than what we've seen in gold, but we could see some good ones going forward. I'd love to see gold get down into the 1600s again, or even into the 1700, low 1700 area, because that would be a very, very interesting place to nibble along again, if nothing else, just on the swing. So yeah, anyway, we'll be talking a lot more about those ETFs. So anyway, let's get focused here on the A period opening, which is in 5 minutes. Again, I'm watching primarily the indexes, but this is what's going on in oil. It's still pushing down, reasonably clean bottom now. It took out that zero print. So it's kind of like the short setup was about 15 minutes ago, and it was perfect in oil. And now, I don't know, it's kind of losing a little bit of steam. You can see the delta over here on my 15-second view. It's kind of running out of gas. Again, I think oil is going to be a good short too. Now it's got gas again, but there's too much going on in the indexes for me to focus on oil. That's the bottom line. JVC, did you pick off your oil trade early, or are you waiting for A period?
Nope, I'm waiting. I'm noticing a big stack of zero prints down at 69, 66 to 54. It's just all zero prints. So
that's interesting.
And seeing that as wonder if we're going to get there.
Yeah. Well, it's got a lot of momentum down, clearly.
Yep.
And, oil can do this. It could go, it's only down, 1% now?
Oil could do whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah, it's down 1.4. It could go down 10
or
times.
5 more percent.
Oh, even more than that. Yeah. It was down 14% once 2-3 weeks ago, right? So, that's a very interesting thing to watch. There's definitely a setup there. Again, I'm just really focused. The indexes are so well correlated, and the right ones are leading down, and there was a big chunk of volume. And so we're setting up for a really good opening trade either way in the equity indexes. So I'm trying to keep one eye on oil, but I'm not going to stick my neck out to trade it. I mean, again, it could be a momentum trade all day though. But I'm really interested in seeing how we go into the pre-open for the equities. So anyway, we're still 3 minutes from the actual start of this session. I opened the room early. because I'm just that kind of a guy. And figured this would be interesting to look at too. I almost put the trade on as I was opening the room earlier, the short in oil. I was about to do it. And then I thought, that's going to be too much to watch, particularly since I'm running my trade copier. One error is three errors. So I learned that the hard way yesterday and took me an hour to clean up a mistake I made because of my arthritis hand didn't function properly for a minute and I couldn't click where I needed to. Anyway, see, now we got a price rejector at the bottom here on the pullback. So, there could also be some wicked swings in oil. I mean, it won't necessarily go straight down. So, again, there's a setup there. We want everyone to be aware of it. I'll go ahead and wait till the official start of this. One more time, we'll talk about that setup, and then we're going to switch to the equities because that's what I want to do. Anyway, I've been warming up in the scalping the equities. I posted that too, and it's just so the conditions are so good over there. Hard not to be trading. Yeah, see, look, this is what's been happening a little bit in oil. I'm going to blow this guy up. So, you can see the momentum. This is 15 seconds. We came down really aggressively, and now there's a really good spot to watch here, potentially breaking down. You can see how it traded. And so, there's a really nice line in the sand now that could be the next impulse if it does decide to head lower. So, if you could get short up here somewhere and that's what you're looking to do, that's a very interesting setup. Anyway, that's why I like to watch the 15-second footprints. They're just really visual. I don't even need to look at the numbers. I can see it out of the corner of my eye and just be watching this and get a sense of the momentum. So I find that very useful. Okay. Anyway, so that's the story in oil. It's pretty clear, gosh, if it got into wow, look where the delta is up here, JVC. Min delta is all the way at 71.20 and we're at 70.20. So it's a full point above us, which is $1,000 in CL world. And also look at this on the 30-minute, look at this beautiful breakdown pattern, just boom, 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 just getting sold. And again, now it's trying to find a bottom and there's a little bit of an attempt at a price rejector if you look at the whole session. So this is interesting. You could trade this a whole bunch of ways, try to get short further up, maybe right up there where it rejected that, or, even if it just holds right here isn't a stupid idea. There's a bunch of ways you can play this. You could just watch the deltas and when it starts to go negative, hop in. Look at that. The price pushed up, but it was doing it on a negative delta. So that could be an inflection. There's a couple of old zero prints right above us on 15-second view anyway. They're not really that relevant. Anyway, so that's the story there. Again, it's right on 6. Okay, so I started early. I've been just saying there was a really nice short in oil. Oil is in a period right now. And I got to tell you, there's a great setup here to trade it short on a bounce. But, it could bounce all the way up. It could bounce a full point. 71.20 is my read. And, we were just talking about the momentum. If you just play the momentum here, you could be trading this really, really effectively because it's telegraphing the range really nicely. So that's the story in oil. Having said all that, I'm not interested in oil today. There's way too much going on in the indexes. We are sitting right at the lows in all 4 of them. There was a big push down because of a bigger PPI number, Producers Price Index. It was worse than expected. And, this could get bought this morning. I'm not saying, it's the end of the world, but it's certainly a great spot to watch. I was short earlier in ES. I posted some of my warm-up short scalps. And now I'm just kind of letting the pre-open happen. I talked about this in the overnight session we did on the Midnight Oil Sunday, Monday morning. This time of day in the equity world, it's what I call the pre-open. It's the period right before the open, which is, at the bottom of the hour. I like to watch this. I rarely trade it unless there's something really juicy in the equities, but it's a really good one to watch as the bigger volume starts to come into the market. So that's what I'm going to do for the first part of this session, and we'll talk about it a little bit. I don't think it's all that useful to stay over here on the session views. We can see pretty much, that we're near the lows and that they're in jeopardy. The only one that's even trying to price rejector here was YM. And remember, it's been the strongest of the indexes because it's the blue chip stuff that, should get a Christmas rally, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, with that all said, I am going to now switch to my main screen. Seamless, flawless transition from one screen. I'm that good now, JVC, aren't you?
Yeah, impressed? I heard the recording has started or whatever, and I realized you'd had to switch. I was doing my oil trade, so I was just completely focused. I had the volume turned down. So
that's
crazy
cool.
short, down to just above those zero prints. It was wicked.
Are you talking about an oil?
Yeah.
Here, let's switch. I'll put this bottom right hand 1 minute panel on it so we can watch it. Oh, yeah. Wow. And now it's all the way back up where it was.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, gee, look at that. Boy, if you didn't take profits, you got crushed.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a great short. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget the min delta is all the way up at 71.20. At least it was a minute ago. I'm not watching it as much anymore. Yeah, that was a great setup. But I'm totally focused on the indexes today.
Yep.
There's just way too much going on there. It's not, it's correlated. The right things are leading NQ and RTY down. It's trying to consolidate at an area that, if you're looking at the TPO view, this is what we call the edge of a cliff. And again, I posted this in the pit. I mean, we've reversed the big reversal, and could it come down here to 4,500? Yeah, today it could. On the other hand, could this area hold it? Yeah, it could too. So this is a really good setup. But again, my focus for the next 20 minutes or so until we get right to the open 5 is going to be to just watch the action and try to get a sense of how much interest there is down here. So that's going to be the main thing we're going to be doing. I'm going to reset all my footprints so we can see from scratch. And then I do also have my 30-minute running over here, and you can see there's a little price projector down there. Look at that. So, again, the whole story here is, can this low hold? Will that price projector reject? And, this doesn't look bad. This actually looks like a decent low at the moment, but look at the pattern. I mean, we came crushing down. So of course, anyone that caught this short took profits down here or is trying to. So I really want to pay attention to how this high volume node builds out. And I'm not on a big bounce up, I might put a micro short on, but right now I really want to get a sense of if this low is going to hold. And going, if it doesn't hold, I might go ahead and get short with it again. But I've already got a really, really nice day going here, and we're not even open yet. And I've had a couple of days, and this I know you can all identify with this. I've had a couple of days where I had really good overnight trading, and then the open 5 trade was shitty, but I traded it anyway, and I ended up, giving back some of my overnight or all of it and ending up upside down. And then I spent, after we got past the initial balance, putting the profits back in the bank. And I know that's a flaw of mine. It has to do with, I get thinking one way and I get kind of stuck there. So one of the ways I've kind of NLP'd myself, trained myself not to do that, is when we have this kind of energy right before the open where there was just a really big event and everybody's, let's get short. I've learned to just take a step back. I'm not in my chair and I'm not at my desk. I'm literally standing back about 5 feet from my desk and just watching. If I'm a fly on the wall here. So the lows look like they want to go, but I know my monkey would have me jumping short here, which might not be a bad trade, but I've already got a bunch of good trades, and there will be better ones once we get a better idea if this low is going to hold. Yeah,
the monkey can be right.
Yeah, and there's definitely a scalp here short if that low blows. But look what just happened in oil. The low went, and then it was a wick reversal. I mean, so again, I'm just not willing. It's an opportunity to make money, but as Lee likes to say, it's an opportunity to lose money too. And so I'm going to keep my profits right now and watch this low. And if the beauty of this is look at all 4 of these fast charts here, the 60-second charts. We can see exactly what's going on, and it's, it'll get bright green if we make higher highs. It will get bright red if we make lower lows. So it's going to be really visual what's happening and if they're in sync. And you can see RTY is trying to lead us down because it made lower lows. The others did not. That's why I have the colors that way. I can just look for bright red or bright green. And so this is a really interesting spot here. And also look at the deltas, the bar by bar delta. Again, a lot of aggression both ways in RTY. The rest of them, look at ES. It's on the buy side. It's on the buy side in NQ, and it's on the sell side in YM, but now it just flattened out. So this is a really interesting spot. If we were in the regular trading hours, this is what a potential high volume reversal setup would look like. But instead, what we did was, we sold off really hard, and now we're in ebb and flow at the lows. Again, one of my favorite setups during RTH, right before RTH. I'm really cautious with this kind of a setup because, if it does break the low and it's a short, there will be plenty of time to join that action. But if it's a head fake and, we go back up into the range, then, look out. I think the market's going to break down. That's personally my opinion, but I've learned not to trade my opinion. So particularly this time of day, this is a really good time of day just to watch. Or if you're trading the oil trade, it's always fun. But I've found that if I do the oil trade, I love it and I can make money. But if I'm trying to do them both when it's this active, I'm spreading my 62-year-old brain too thin. Here's oil right now, and you can see that wick. Look at that. On a 60-second chart, there was even a wick there. So, you had to have a target or take profits really fast. I mean, that was a high volume reversal there. Look at that, JVC. It's a perfect one.
Sorry, what was that?
The turn in oil at the lows was a perfect high volume reversal.
Oh yeah,
it's right here. I've got it up on my.
And for the structural folks, it's also a perfect, beautiful textbook example of why you just cannot hold out for structural targets at any cost. I was looking at those zero prints and it got, 7-8 ticks away from them and then just goodbye.
Yep.
So if you had a target down there and said, nope, I'm holding out until we get to that zero print, I'm not out.
Then you gave it all back.
All of it and more. Exactly.
And more, yeah. And that's just, I was talking about that yesterday during the live trading I was doing. That's just such a stupid thing. These people that have targets, targets don't make sense. Profits make sense. You just have to let the market give you whatever it's giving you. And, that's all about the RFM, the right fracking now. Very interesting. So the low went, obviously we're pushing down again here. And once again, I think we've got lower to go. We price rejected up there, but this is the time of day, particularly when I've already got profits in the bank. I don't want to get caught wrong-footed at the open. So if I was still short, I'd probably be taking profits here again, just like I would in the last ebb and flow. Because if you look at the deltas, particularly watching ES and NQ, this is whenever it pushes down like that, we make a lower low, but the buyers are coming in a little bit. People are taking profits, in other words, is what really is happening. And so the potential for a wicked bounce back up to 30, for example, right now is really high. And that's 4 points. So at the moment, it's a continuation short. Obviously, though, if you're still short and you haven't taken profits, I would just be really careful down here. That's all. And I'm going to be looking for shorts at the open. Obviously, boy, look at that. Tried to hold right there, and then this is a really interesting spot right here. 27 3/4, 27 1/2 the quarter right there. I would definitely keep an eye on that because that was an inflection point on the way down. It tried to bounce and then blew through it. So that's how we got where we're at now. But again, I'm just not going to stake a position out at this time of day. The volume is not high enough. We're only at 336,000 right before the open in December. With a news event, we should be at 600,000. So again, until the volume starts to come in, I don't want to be on the wrong side of it. But again, if I was short, maybe if I had multi-contract, I'd leave one on here and take profits on the rest. But it's just, I see newer traders constantly, like JVC was just saying, they try to get more out of a trade than is there, and they end up giving back all the profits and then some. And, of all the people I've coached, including myself that had that problem, I found the easiest way to break it is just to take profits and stop trying to use, going somewhere is a good idea, but having the idea that I'm holding out for my target, that's not good discipline. That's stupidity. That's my point. Would you agree with that statement, JVC?
It's stubbornness, it's monkey, it's greed, it's all of it.
Yeah, and a good trader takes profits.
Yep.
That was how I came up with those three things that I say all the time. Good trades work right away, don't lose money, and always take profits. If you keep that as kind of a mantra, all of the big mistakes are covered in there somewhere.
They are.
Yeah, they are. So it's a really simple way to just remind yourself of all the stupid things you can do. Like, I can't tell you how many times I had a sized position on when I was scalping and it went against me. And so, here I am trying to pick off $100 and now it's $400 against me and I'm stubbornly still in the trade. And that's don't lose money. And then good trades work right away. That one you see all the time. When you go into scalp and boom, you get your 3 ticks like before you can even measure time. That's the zone. That's what the zone feels like. And then always take profits is the one we were just talking about with that oil trade. It's a good example. If you're thinking too much about where you're going, that understanding the idea of the trade is one thing. I'm short here because it's going this way and there's good targets down there. That's the right answer. The wrong answer is no, I'm holding out for my targets because it's going to get there. That's the stupid trader. That's the monkey trader. You have profits. Why are you going to risk them to get more on something where the odds are starting to work against you? That's the question. All right, we are at 6:15, and I could disappear at any moment, JVC. We have torrential rain and huge winds, and there's trees down, and the cable was down last night, so we lost internet. Power's been up and down a few times this morning, but I have my serial UPSs, and I can turn on generator if I need to, but so the internet's really going to be the tricky one. So if I just suddenly vaporize, that's what's happening.
We'll know why.
Yeah, you'll know why. Send a search party. All right, let's see. We are on main screen. We are set for, this is exactly why you don't hold out, because we are back at 30 now. Remember I just said when we were at 24, we could have a wicked bounce to 30. Here it is. We had a high volume reversal right at the low. It also just happened to be, no coincidence, right at the edge of the LRC range. Look at my 15-second views. I just love when that happens. That's exactly why I use that analysis, because it gets me out of, we're going down and I need to be short thinking into, hey, there's a long scalp right here that I could play. And so it tells my brain the right answer instead of letting my brain go wherever it wants to go. Obviously the directional move is down here, but there was a wicked good high volume reversal set up across the board. I mean, you could have caught it on any or all of the indexes there. And now it's over. We went to the other end of the range and now we're coming down again. So the long is over. It could be a short, but again, I'm not interested in getting short here before the RTH open. Again, if the market is really going to sell off, look where we are, guys. We're not even down 1% in anything but NQ. So if we're going to have a big down day, that would be YM going down 1,000 points or 500 points. It's only down 100. So again, this is the point of keeping your brain from being stupid right before the open. You can see a lot of energy in an overnight move, and it will just totally make your bias. Okay, I really need to be thinking short here. No, wrong. That should be the context of the overnight. But you cannot draw that conclusion yet. Yes, sellers are in control right now. That might change. I don't think it will, but again, what I think doesn't really matter. I'm going to trade what happens. So that's the plan. I'm going to go get some something warm to drink and stretch and run the stairs and get ready for the open, which is in 14 minutes. So do the same if you like. And also, again, my sessions are, excuse me, I can't talk. My sessions are a little bit more interactive. At least I'll try most of the time. So if the text is set, so only the hosts, JVC and I, see the messages. But if you have any comments or questions, feel free to make them there, and I will be happy to share them or address them as time permits. I like seeing comments now and then. It helps me kind of know what the audience is doing. But the reason we have it that way is because these are designed so we don't have to feel like we have to do that. So watch the chat and all that. So that's the story of this format. And the feedback we've gotten from you guys is really good. Everyone so far, I haven't, JVC, has anyone told you they don't like this format?
No, in fact, everybody has been very vocal about how much they love it. So
kind of like a grown-ups version of a trading room.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll be right back. You guys can hear me run my stairs. I was a sprinter in high school and college, and I still love to run, but my body doesn't always love to run. So at minimum, I run my stairs. I have a flight, 2 flights, actually, 3 stories. And so I get to do that whenever, particularly when it's pouring outside. It allows me to kind of do my stadium workout without going to the high school stadium. Anyway, getting some milk for the coffee. Now we need to get the coffee. Oh, we still have, about 10 minutes, 11 minutes to the open. Really good time to just watch the trade and as the volume comes in and see who's doing what. This is a really, really good time to do that. Okay, filling the coffee machine. I was up earlier trading. Some of you will find this funny. This happens a lot in the middle of the night. I get up and trade for a while and I go back to sleep, and had a couple of great scalps. And then I decided, what, this is really good action. I'm just going to play for a while with it. And so I made coffee and went up to get milk upstairs for the coffee. I made the coffee downstairs. And somehow in that equation, I got distracted. I did something else for a while. Somebody called me and I had to deal with it. Anyway, then I went to look for my coffee and I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked at the whole house. I looked at my computer. I looked in the bedroom. I looked upstairs, looked at the fireplace, all the places I leave my coffee. It was nowhere. Guess where I found my coffee? Put it in the chat. This has probably happened to all of you. The toilet. No, but that was the first place I looked, next to the toilet. No, that's so funny. I know you've all experienced this. There's 2 places you generally leave things. Anyway, it was in the refrigerator. That Wolf said the microwave. Yeah, I put the milk away and I put my coffee in there too for some stupid reason. So my hot coffee was in the refrigerator. And I remember when my father used to go to work, he always used to drink orange juice, and routinely I'd get up after he left and I'd go looking for the orange juice, and I'd find it in the cupboard or in the garage or in the freezer. Yeah, the refrigerator always. Yeah. And of course now I had iced coffee or cooled coffee, so that was no fun. So all right, that's brewing. Cool. All righty. One more time, I totally expect a wicked open either way. I am not in any positions right now. Had a really good short overnight with scalping. I posted my warm-up scalps, and I've made the same mistake over and over again in the last couple of years since I started teaching the Open 5, not when I used to trade it, but when I teach it, getting too aggressive at the opening when I've had a good overnight, particularly. And when there's a lot of motion like this, there's plenty of trading day to come. And, this action's enticing, but I would not just overcommit to the downside here. As I said at the Ides of Monday, I am in all the triple short ETFs. So those are working really well. And I've been in them since last Wednesday. So again, I'm not in a hurry to join this short, but there's definitely going to be some good action here. What if some volume comes in on the buy side at the open? We could see a wicked short squeeze. Amy pointed that out a couple of days ago. The remote in the fridge. Yeah, all the time. Yes, Amy. The remote in the fridge and the freezer. I put the remote in the microwave once, but fortunately caught myself before I turned it on. I've also left the remote on top of the fireplace, which was really stupid because it became a remote soup, and I had to luckily find another one on eBay. So yeah, remotes, apps, and my headphones too. These are wireless Bluetooth headphones that I'm on right now, and I've got a this radio amplifier that amplifies anything in the house, so I can kind of walk around most of the house with this headset on. The mic, I can always hear the mic sometimes gets a little bit bad for you guys, and I found it all over the place. Okay, I hear my alert going off there on my computer. I'm not there. Give me a second. I'm whipping my chocolate coffee here. I think today is going to be an awesome session. Remember, FOMC is tomorrow. So, there's a lot of people that probably would like to get business done today and get out of the way. That could just give us one directional trading. It could give us two directional trading. My guess is there's going to be some spots where buyers or sellers come in, but that we will have a dominant direction today. My guess also is that's down, but I'm not married to that. It could be, we could get a short squeeze also. Anyway, hang on. I got to turn said fireplace off because I forgot to do that earlier. And renuking the chocolate coffee, and we will be 6 minutes out. Perfect. Okay. Poor man's latte. I just put milk in a shaker bottle and then just pour it on top of my coffee so I get beautiful foaming milk, just like you. Only it's not $8 like it is at Starbucks. It's probably, total cost is probably $1. Frugal old man that I am. Okay, now I'm walking down the stairs with the coffee. I have tripped doing this before and spilled myself and the coffee. And now I'm back. Okay. More size, fewer trades, less trading time. More intensely, shorter term. Missed. That is something I'm doing with somebody I coached a long time ago. I'm just helping them scale, and that's what that acronym is for, because I'm scaling also. So we're kind of just checking each other. That's not surfer guy. That's not video game guy. It's just a friend that I don't charge them or anything. We kind of coach each other, but I'm more experienced and older and have scaled more times. But interestingly, he has more money. He just cashed out of a tech startup for a whole lot of money. All right. Well, we're obviously at the lows here. Now, the number in play right now is 25 and 20, just watching the quarters. It's trading 25.75. I'm not interested here. The open's too close, but we could definitely see a blast down at the open. We could see a short squeeze at the open. My guess is we're going to go down, but let's get a footprint up so we can watch that. But I'm not married to that. The bottom of this rotation is pretty clean, 17 by 0, and the top of it has a price rejector. In other words, we could trade right either end of this range. So, and the top of that range is 34, and we're at 25. So, big range, big overnight range. Don't be stupid. Don't have an opinion at the open. Let the market tell you its opinion. So that's what we'll do. And I am going to open 5 scalp this if we get an open 5 scalp. Remember, the open 5 is a momentum trade. So whichever way we're going, you have to go that way. If there's sweeps the other way, the trade does not work and I won't take it. I almost always use market orders for that trade, but I'm going to switch to, and I do have brackets on again. It's throwing errors, but it's working. So you might see some errors go by, just ignore them. But right now I'm set for 3 ticks. I'm 3 tick drills over here in ES. If I do put a position on, it will immediately put up a 3 tick target. Depending on which way I'm trading, I may take that off and give it more room than that. But for the moment, that's what, and there's no bracket at all on the micro. If I do play the micro, if I'm going to try to trend trade this today, I will do it with the micros. If I'm going to scalp it, I'll do it with the minis, with that 3 tick drill to start with. And then if I'm getting those routinely, I might try to get more. That's my plan. Yes, Amy, absolutely. Big fat hole number below. Good point. 4,600 and then 4,500 and a bigger, fatter holder number. We could have a really good day today. So, remove your bias, limber up, stretch, take deep breaths. Do not chase trades and don't overtrade. There's no reason. There's so many opportunities here. And I don't mean, don't do 1,000 trades. It might be 1,000 trades might be good. I'm just saying don't take shitty trades. There's no reason to. That's what I mean by overtrading. I'm going to be patient for ace king setups. That's my point. And I might even scale into some of those if we get them. Okay, and there's the open, and there's price discovery all over the place here. Wants to go down first. So can it get down to even 20 here? There's buyers here. Look at that. Well, let's see how long they last. But the open 5 is a long, folks, at least for the moment. I'm going to reset this footprint there. So basically, if 25 holds here, then this is an interesting long, but I'm not going to play it. It's moving around way too much. Bidirectional sweeps, when you get bidirectional sweeps, there's just, sit on your hands. I mean, even if I'm right with a 6-tick setup, I might not get out of it profitably. It could stop out 6 ticks the other way. So definitely pushing down. You could play a micro short here if you wanted to. I might do that. Let's see. Maybe from there or there, maybe we'll play a micro. It's coming up too fast. I don't want to play that. Yeah, that's what a short squeeze will start like. So now this is sit on hands. I'm not even going to invest a micro in this. It's not worth it. Yeah, way too sweepy. It's sweepy. Fun to watch though, isn't it? Look at that. We have a 2-directional open 5. All right, the open 5 setup is off completely. If you've followed that setup at all, there's only one rule. If it's going one way, you trade it. The minute there's two-way action, there's no open 5 trade. It's over. Forget it. Now you want to see what the A period looks like and let this settle down. So there will be a really good opportunity here, one way or the other or both, but trying to trade it right now just doesn't make any sense. You can't manage risk. So sip chocolate coffee and observe the show. I always like to think about what people are thinking while I'm just watching, because I know what I'm thinking when I trade and when I'm watching. But just imagine the shorts right now that are freaking out, the guys that sold 25 or whatever. And they're like, oh, fuck. And that's how short squeeze starts, And boy, if we get into this low volume area above us, we could really take off. We could go right back up to where we broke down on the PPI announcement, which is exactly my point of why I don't trade these things unless they're really clear. And when they're two-way, I just stay out of the way. You could have got a nice long there, but I submit to you, you would have had trouble managing risk in that trade. Now it's in another interesting spot. We're trying to hold that 30 area that I mentioned a minute ago. Let's see if it can. I might nibble short here with a micro, but it's going up, so that would be counter trend. That's dangerous, but it's an interesting idea. I'll just put it out as an idea. See, it would be working if I did it. Let's see if that would have been a manageable trade. No, you would have got a point out of it, and now it would have been threatening to go against you with a lot of heat in a short squeeze, and you would be out of the way. So that trade would not have worked very well. So I'm glad I didn't do it. This is a thing that I haven't talked about this that much recently. I did back in the workshop. I love to do this when I'm not actually trading, just mentally trade like that. That's how I stay focused. So again, the short at 30 wouldn't have worked well. Your potential to get just ripped with a short squeeze here. You can see it in the tape too. Watch the lifts here. They keep lifting right on inflection points, the collective they. There's a lot of buying. In other words, if this can get above this high volume node, there's going to be a whole bunch of shorts offside. And that's why these guys are buying. I'm sure they're trying to make that happen. And there's no risk as long as the market doesn't go down to do that. So you'll see, watch the lift right there. Okay. Can it hold? Again, this is where it bounced last time. So holding right on that 29.30 spot, and we're getting really aggressive bidirectionally, but the volume is stronger on the buy side here. So it's either getting absorbed and we're going to go down, or there's going to be a wicked short squeeze up into the next high volume node, maybe at 35 or 40. But we actually both are likely to happen. That's we'll probably two-way it here. Let's put the footprint back up so we can see what's actually going on with the volume. Okay, so there's a price rejector down at the bottom of A period. So that is also an argument that those shorts are going to get puked out. And so again, watch 30 here. If we can get above about 32, look out. We'll be at 35 really fast. It's trying to do that right here. Oh, this is great. There it goes. Come on, guys. Lift it. Again, I'm not going to trade it. I'm just going to enjoy watching the show here as the shorts start screaming, I'm melting. Oh, this is just too fun. Okay, if it gets through here, look out. There it goes. Okay. And that's where I would take profits if I was on that trade. That's the shorts are puked, and now, anything can happen. We have a decent clean top, price rejector at the bottom. It's a crappy long setup here. You can't manage risk because it's sweepy. But that was a really good example of how people get trapped, and it's really obvious if you just watch the price level and watch around it, and you can catch some wicked little pukes like that. Good job, Amy. It's great trading for that kind of stuff, isn't it? Okay, so on the price, we have a price rejector on the pullback now too. So we could continue bending shorts over here. But again, I want to see more information today. The bidirectional sweeps, if I wasn't teaching, I might be scalping. But again, I've learned that I tend to give more back than I make if I've already had a good day at this time of the day, and tends to be better opportunities with less risk, because it's less sweepy in another, half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. So let's just watch it. But again, it is a long. There's no question. It's a crappy long setup right here. There's no short. If you're short or thinking short, you're gonna be really offsides here, unless the momentum changes, because the shorts are getting vacuumed up right now. Oh, you know what? I should probably check in on my triple, so I want to take some of that profit. Hang on a second. Always take profits. All right, let's see. I'm going to take half off on all of them. So never lose money doing that, right? Yeah, Amy just posted that she's not convinced of anything yet, also taking some profits. Yeah, this is remember, we're at the edge of this cliff I've been posting about on the TPO view. It's really clear here. Let me bring that over here. And at the moment, we're litigating which way it's going to go with a lot of two-way sweeps. So, if you can get a good entry on a trade and you want to trade it, fine. I'm choosing not to, but I do see that there's opportunities there. So here's the TPO view. And you can see, if it gets down to the low of this session, that's the edge of the overnight cliff, and look out. It certainly could get down at least to 4,500, 4,590, and the potential is a whole lot more than that. This is the air pocket. FOMC's tomorrow, could they raise rates? Maybe, they're in trouble now with PPI and CPI going up. The market hasn't seemed to care. So, but obviously if rates got raised, or there was clear signal of when, you probably see some shifts out of equities toward, instruments that benefit from the rate from raising rates. So anything can happen anytime. Let me crunch this together a little bit so we can watch the top of this. 10 by 12 at the top of A period with a price rejector at the bottom. Some selling here. We're above max delta, so the buyers are in control at the moment on a really crazy session, but it's been the other way around. So worth watching. Yeah, I agree, Amy. It's a skeptical long, and I've just got too much profit in the bank to even take the chance. So we'll watch that. Oh, now it's pushing up again. There was a baby unfinished business there in this rotation, and it popped up a couple more ticks and then cleaned up. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. Let's just give it some time, let it play out. It's almost back to where it broke down from, which would be a real interesting spot to watch. So the breakdown occurred right here, which was at 43 quarter-ish, call it 43, and we're at 38 quarter. So that's a very interesting spot to watch. I'm going to watch. That's where you could see a Wyckoffean event, and this whole thing becomes an upthrust of some kind. But I'm going to wait and see if that happens. It's a great place to try a short, by the way. You wouldn't have much to lose up there around 43, and the VWAP's at 45. So again, that's a really good spot right now to keep an eye on. But within here, gosh, just watch the short-term action, particularly in NQ. It's like sweeping 20, 30 ticks at a time. But even ES is sweeping, there's an upsweep for 4 and a downsweep for 4 at exactly the same price point, on the 37.5 price area. And now it looks like it's probably going to, sweep right back down. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was going to break back up, and it broke down. it's very two-way. So I'm going to stay here. I think we're going to get a really good setup a little bit later, but at the moment, I don't like the bidirectionality. Watch that right there. And RTY, let's see what the percentages are. No, actually, yeah, NQ and RTY are still leading down. They're just not down as much. So let's see if this can hold. It's a good time to check the internals. If you've been around before, I usually have a look right around now. The up volume, down volume is even. It's not telling us anything. If you look at advanced decline, it came out of the gate really negative and it reversed, which, we're seeing what's happening right now. And over here in the tick world, the cumulative tick is trending down. That's interesting. So since equities opened, things are selling more than buying, but the number going down is going down. So it's trying to consolidate. Okay, we're right at that 43 spot right here, folks. I'm going to reset my footprint so we can watch it. This should be an inflection point. This is exactly where we broke down from. If we get above this, then anybody who short's in really big trouble. And if we go down, this would be a really logical place to reshort right here. So I might trade this one. I might do this one with a micro. I just haven't decided which way yet. Gosh, this could go either way. I like short, though. I'm very tempted to throw a short on here. Let's look at the footprint before we do that. And price rejector on the pullback. I wish Sierra Chart would fix their stupid center on, get it where it should be. Center on chart, not whatever it's thinking. It's centering on the pullback bar or whatever. All right, 45's holding. Now, the short here would be very dangerous. So let's watch it some more. Turns out the high volume reversal right at the lows, and we've had just a screaming 20-point long ever since then. But again, that's a short squeeze. Those can stop very quickly, and we're right back where you'd expect maybe that to happen. So let's just keep an eye on this spot right here. All the ranges kind of filled. The internals are mixed. Everything is mixed signals here. Let me look at my trend indicator. It's totally flat. The gap fills are interesting plays. We just filled the half gap right there in ES. So that's interesting. Get rid of that alert. It's old. Yeah, again, so they broke down, and that's also the half gap spot. But this behavior is completely directionless right now. So actually, that could make it easier to trade in a few minutes if it settles down a little more up here. Warm, hot chocolate coffee. Simple things in life. Whoa, look at that little sweep. That's one of the bigger ones I've seen in a long time. We just swept from 57.5 to 85.5 and then back to 65.5 in NQ. And it did that on in one event. That was amazing. It's so much fun to watch this, but I'm glad I'm not trading that. Can you imagine having that big a profit and then having it go upside down against you? All insane. I mean, there's no way. A bracket might not have even executed that, unless you were already, your limit orders wouldn't have been far enough in line. So, massive opportunity to lose money. Okay, now the short setup looks like it might be interesting here. I'm going to take it. So I'm short 43.25. I'm doing it with a micro. It's just, if it gets going that way, it'll be a great trade. If it doesn't, I'll get out of the way. So this is just one micro on a swing trade, and it's copied in my other account. I'm not going to let it lose me a lot of money, but if the idea works, it will be a fun trade. So that's my first trade of the regular session. I am nibbling short here with the idea that might be the end of the short squeeze. And if it isn't, we'll just get out of the way. And it looks like, and where would that be? It has to get above 50. 50 is the line in the sand right now. That's the range it broke down from on the bad news. And so we'll see if that breakdown was the right answer or if that was a overreaction. So might put, it's right on the VWAP here. Let's see. I don't even want to bother with two micros. I don't want to take any more risk. So, here we're basically risking about $30 here on this idea. Maybe a little more than that. That's okay. The direction is up, so I'm definitely counter trend here, and I'm just doing it based on all the reasons I said this could be a spot return. That's all. All right, right there, that's kind of the top of it. If that doesn't work, we'll get out of the way. And let's see. So there's the $30 right there. There's 50. 50 needs to get sold. I don't think it is getting sold. So, well, 50 is getting sold. All right. So my idea is still working, but, again, I don't have a very good entry. Tempted to throw one more here at 50 since that did that. Yeah, let's do. All right. So now I've got 2 and my average is 46.25. So that's a good trade. I'll do that. See if the bottom falls out, I'll be in good shape. If it trades back down to 40, I'll take one off. Let's do that at there, bottom of that volume. Let's put it right there. Okay, so the VWAP's there. So it comes back. You know what? If it just comes back down in the range, that's a smarter place to take that first one off. And then we'll have one really good entry. So I don't know that it's even going to do that, though. Here it comes. Okay, cool. Yeah, we definitely want to take this one off. There's a whole lot of other folks down there. So let's just, as soon as it goes profitable, we'll peel that guy off, and then we'll have one really good entry. Now watch, it won't go profitable because I said that. And now that's right there. That's the break even right there on these two. So, and yeah, but one of them's from 50. So yeah, let's get this guy off. Okay, now we have a really good short from 49.5. One lot micro. I will hang on to this because this could get really interesting. And we'll lock in some profit just to, not be stupid, but there we go. So I'm locking in 6 points. I'm going to get filled here, I think. No. Yeah. No. Okay. Keep going down. Good. I'm right in the right spot. It's going to bounce. Okay. Well, that's cool. Made a few bucks. $10 in 2 accounts. Yeah. That would have been a nice ES trade, but I would have had to take way too much heat. It went $30 against me. So the risk reward there is not good, obviously. But it's a good trading idea. That's why micros sometimes can be useful. You can make money by, scaling so far down that more movement in dollar risk is manageable. And you don't look at it the same way you look at the tick risk of trading a mini. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, post a question. I will try to clarify that. But that should, to most of you here, I'm looking at who's here. Most of you should understand that really clearly. I know a few of you do. I know Amy does, and I know Andrew does. But at 34 ticks on NQ, good job. Man, you have brass cojones doing NQ with this kind of action. But I do see the setups. They're there. It's just really crazy. I'm not going to try to talk and trade NQ at the same time. I'm not that good. But yeah, looking at the list of folks here, I think most of you understand what I mean about that. So if you don't, ask me and I'll try to clarify. But this is still a short here. It's just, not a great place to stay short. We could certainly go down and see a new low, which is what I was trying to do with my micro. The reason I didn't is rule number 1, always take profits. It was threatening to take me out of being profitable. And, you just can't let that happen unless it's within the premise of the trade. Like when I first put it on, I'll give this till 50, and then at 50 it held. Oh, that's a good place to add. We came back down. So I'm still working the idea of the trade. So that's a very subtle but critical distinction. Adding to a loser is a bad habit. Getting a better entry on something you're scaling into is a really good habit. If you confuse those two things, you will regret it. Yeah, Amy just posted that. Yeah, that is exactly why I'm doing it, because scaling is a totally different skill than just trading one lots is, or a 2 lot with one coming off right away. There's a lot more to scaling, and practicing in the micros is really useful because you get the hang of, if you scale at the wrong spots, how just badly you can get burned, and that's what you need to teach yourself. That trading a good trade is one thing. Scaling a good trade is another skill on top of that first skill. If you don't have the first skill, you're really going to screw up the second one. So, and one of the things I'm trying to do in my live sessions is show more examples of how I scale. So there was one right there. Again, if the conditions were a little less crazy, I'd be doing it in the minis because that's really what I want to be doing. But I'm not unhappy with today's P&L, so Again, I'm really vulnerable to a mistake right now. And you know why that is? Because that's my my P&L right there. I have no losers all day, all morning, all overnight, and that's the problem. When I do that, I get cocky. And again, this is the stuff you need to teach yourself. So, excuse me. So this time of the day, I really want to focus on ace king and sitting on my hands unless it's a good setup, because I've got, all that under my belt and my brain's thinking, oh, how hard could this be? That's the monkey brain talking. It's a lot harder than it looks. So, and particularly this setup right now, this easily could go either way from here. It's litigating that spot that I've been watching for the last 30 minutes. And let's go back and look at the footprint and see what's going on there. The top is clean, and there's a price rejector at the bottom, and we're not in the middle, but close to it. And they're the wrong way around on the deltas. Now positive, negatives above positive. So on the pullback, it's correct, but there's mostly selling in the pullback with a price rejector on the pullback. So this is like, how many different ways can you say, it's going two directions? That's what this is telling you. We're still well correlated, but YM turned positive. Look at that. Remember, it was the stronger one. It's holding its highs. NQ pulled back the most. I think this is going to be a long setup again here. RTY is about to break. I think this is a long. Really hesitant to take a long here at 44, but I'm starting to think this might be right here. Maybe we'll do a long micro just to, gosh, it would be so hard to manage risk. Get a better entry would be 42.5. I get an entry there. That's a worthwhile long right there. Let's see. I'm not taking it yet because I want to see it hold. It's not holding. No, I'm not going to do that either because it's going below it. So, yeah, you get a good idea. You got to, test it. That one would be 2 points upside down right now. Even if the area holds, it's doing it so sloppily that I wouldn't even try it. So YM, it's trying to break its top, and RTY bounced off of it and came back down into the range. So yeah, now the range is holding, and that's why that short would not have worked. So yeah, gosh, very two-directional kind of ideas here. Part of me is doing what I like to do. Remember, I'm a heavy-duty contrarian, which is just, if everybody is thinking short here, again, there's just going to be continual wicked potential for short squeezes up. And so if you get long at the right pukes, you can just clean up on that, even if it ends up being a down day. So I'm just very picky here. There's a bunch of good setups, but you really want to wait till one of them appears. So right now, what's one of them? The bottom of the range might be viable again. And if it starts aggressively heading back up, I might join that long, but I doubt it at this point. Now that 40 is getting sold, well, and now that 40 is getting bought. See, there you go. That's just whatever bets you could be thinking in right now. They're not very good ones. How's that? Yeah, long down at 20. I agree, Amy. Anywhere down there would be interesting. There's definitely high volume potential to get long at the bottom of this range. There's no question about that. But, looking at the footprint, and that's a price rejector down there too, but it just, we are in the middle of the middle here. Have another look at internals and see if anything changed over there. We're almost at break even. We're almost at zero on the advanced decline. And the cumulative tick did turn up as well. And up and down volume is meaningless right now. It's just going back and forth. So this is a critical point. And basically, advanced decline is the thing to watch. If that gets positive, then that could get very interesting. This is advanced decline right here. This is yesterday. So we opened right around the same balance as yesterday it's the advancers minus the decliners that I track. And now that's almost a parity. So again, if it gets above that, it gets interesting. We could get, that contributes more to short squeezeness because more stuff's going up. So the equities will create their own short squeeze, which will manifest as well in what's happening over here. So that's what I mean by that. The short squeeze in the futures is a separate event of people short the futures. But if the same thing's happening in the equities, then that would give that short squeeze momentum. That's how you keep an eye on that. Best way to do it is just watch the advanced decline. It gives you a really simple snapshot of what's happening there. And also watch for extremes in the advanced decline. When it's minus 2,000 or plus 2,000, that hard for the market to go down a lot more because everything's already down a lot, so that's useful. But that's what trend down days look like, or trend up days, where that's pegged typically. Well, where are we here? Almost 7. Let's see. I'm doing all 3 today. Is that right, JVC? For you doing
that
yesterday?
Is correct, unless you don't feel up to it.
No, I'm cool right now. There's not much happening.
Okay.
Got some money in the bank, and I'm just watching. But I'm just hoping we get a good setup again before we wrap up. So we've got plenty of time. Another 35 minutes.
We're getting ledge breaking long in YM and RTY. That's for sure.
I know. I'm watching that right here. Yeah. We talked about that a minute ago. That could pull everybody else up. You know what we should do? We should have a look at the heat map and see what's going on there. So let me. Let's see. So the Dow, Microsoft is holding the Dow back, and so is CRM right now. And the Russell it's got lots of red. This is not looking like a trend day in those guys. And obviously the NASDAQ's got some of the same stuff in the tech side down. So, this is not convincing me yet that this is a eminent trend day here, up or down. Nothing is telling me that yet. It's still really early. I mean, we don't even have A period yet. So let's see where A period ends. In fact, that's a really good thing to watch. There might be a trade right on the B to A. So let's watch that. Problem is where we're kind of price rejector at the bottom. It'd be nice if there was UB right up here at the top. There isn't. It's a clean 0 by 10, but I guess if you had to argue a direction here for B to A, it would be long. Wouldn't you say, JVC?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, the high is so in reach.
Yeah. Famous last words, says former trader. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do if I can do it on this screen without it really making a mess? Let's just see if we can show that a little bit clearer. Okay. Yeah, so look at that. So it's right under the overnight price rejector. So that's the, the B to A trade, if it were to happen right now, that's the weaker side or the more likely side. But yeah, again, a price reject, a UB or something up there to indicate it could do that would be nice. And that is such a clean top up there, 0 by 10, right below an overnight price rejector. But there's a price rejector at the low. So,
there's the lack of price rejector. Maybe it becomes one.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it becomes one. A price rejector on the pullback here. You could literally stand up in a room of experienced traders and argue this either way, and everybody would be right, So I'm not going to stick my neck out. Again, remember what I said at the top of the session. Today's a day for ace-king setups, and I just don't see one there for B to A. So from the structural point of view, there's really nothing going on. So I'm going to go back and focus on the price action. That's kind of my approach. The structure is always useful. It's context. There might be a good trade there. Absent that, I'm going to pay attention to the price action. Look at this. So YM and RTY broke and then pulled back. And NQ is in a bit of a down move. And ES could not be in more ebb and flow than it's in right now. I mean, it's totally in a LRC that's horizontal. So, the only thing you can do under these conditions is trade the range, but the range isn't secure because of all the volatility. So there is no trade here right now, just to be really clear from either price point of view or structure. There's a poor setup to trade long in structure, which, be my guest. You'd have to take so much heat on that trade if you do it. Where are you wrong? If you can't answer that really clearly, don't do it. But I can't, so I'm not going to. The only trade I can really clearly see I want to do right now is a retest of the lows. I'm long all over that. the buying off of it was just way too strong to think it's going to break down. And if it does, we'll know right away. That's a really asymmetric trade. So we get down anywhere in the 20s here, I'm going to start getting interested along. But that's my only thesis at the moment. And the price rejector at the low supports that really well, obviously, right? We got a price rejector down there too. So, it's hard to get your odds better than that idea, but, we're not there yet. So that's thinking in bets, plan your trade, let the market come to you. That's all those things. The footprint, somebody asked me about the footprint in NQ. I've got it here. It's just, even with 3-to-1 compression, it's so sloppy. Compressed or crunched, there is UB at the low, and there's a price rejector on this second segment here on the B period. But again, I'm crunching it, and it's moving around so much, I don't know that you can really interpret anything from that. But you're welcome to, if you like. Okay, so we've got a price rejector now on the top of B period. So that kind of squashes that idea, doesn't it, JVC? Unless it can get up through that, which it might be doing right now. Look at that. And there it goes. As he's at now, it's so is this a price rejector or not? That is what is being debated right now by the market. And if it ends up getting bought there, it could be that long, all the way to the edge of A period. Sure doesn't look like it has that much energy to me, maybe, but and then there's the price rejector, the second we pull back, that becomes a clean top. So now the deltas are the right way around, but it's really trying to hold here. So this is a really, really good spot to watch with a footprint. You're going to basically see everything you need to know about footprints right now. The deltas, the pullback, the top and bottom of the range. This end of the range is obviously sloppier than the edge we're at, but we're at this one. And remember, this direction is the one that's most likely. I mean, it's the one we're going, but it just is, it's really strong. So I don't know that, certainly if you get up there, it'd be an interesting place to short it. Or to play either way, depending what happens. So there's a good set of theses. Up here, this is an interesting short around, call it, what is that, 52-ish, the same place I shorted a minute ago. And anywhere, between there and 55, you got to give that a lot of room. And then along at the other end of the range is also interesting, 24, 20, 25, 29, but anywhere in here, gosh, you're just asking to have a trade that's going to make your palms sweat in here, because it's not convincingly going either direction. Starting to go down now, though. It wants to go down. Maybe. Let's reset all these guys and watch them. And no, it wanted to go down, and now it wants to go up. So the second you have a directional move, the market says, hold my beer. Yeah. We need to be in extreme. We need asymmetry. We do not want to be playing here in the middle of the middle. It's just not a good idea. I started this session about 20 minutes early. I will go to the bottom of the hour. I don't see any reason not to, but I'll be real honest with you. I'm not thinking I'm going to get a trade between now and the bottom of the hour. Maybe if this momentum down here gets going, maybe we will. So price rejector held. The bottom is clean, but again, we're right there. There's buyers here on the pullback, so much for the short again. Yeah, this is going to happen over and over again. Every time you think you're going to get going one way, the market's going to say, nah, I think we'll go the other way. So. I want to go back and look at I started to do my Robinhood and my TD Ameritrade closing out, and then I got distracted, so I only did half of that. So I probably should go back and finish taking profits there while I'm still thinking about it. Okay, I'm still staying short in the triple ETFs, but I'm taking half off because I've got a lot of profit in them, and that's good practices. Let's see, what is the percentage over here? Oh, come on. So, yeah, like the SQQ today is a nice, 5% all by itself. So, yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay. So let the rest of that ride. One more second, guys. I'm almost done with this. Okay, that's done. Got that, did that. Okay. And I look up and nothing has changed, although we are at the bottom of the range now and we are heading toward that $20, $25 long idea. This could get very interesting if it in fact happens fast enough for us in this session. Boy, the momentum sure picked up down in NQ and ES, but look at RTY and YM. They're holding up so far anyway. So, on the other hand, if you see them turn down, the two here, then, that should get us lower really fast. But so far they're holding, there's directional down moves in NQ and ES, but RTY and YM are in sideways moves. You can see them there. They're in ebb and flow at the highs, which is a bullish thing, not a bearish thing. Reversal of the highs in ES and NQ, bearish. Oh, boy, long is interesting right here in ES or micro ES. Let's reset that part and watch that right here. If they can lift right here, the shorts that pushed us down here are going to be in trouble. So they're trying to lift, but it's not working. And now the sellers are reasserting themselves. But keep an eye on that little battle right there. The next level that's in play is 30 now. So again, I'm really interested below 30 for a nibble long, but not here. God, I'm tempted to nibble long here, though, but then I'm front running my trade way too much. So let it come to you, Jeff. Keep an eye on YM and RTY. If they can break down, we could make lower lows or at least have a really good solid test of the lows today. So that's what I'll be watching for. Still in the middle of the middle, still dangerous. Don't get sucked in. Just too much risk in here. Could go either way aggressively. It's sweeping back and forth. There's lots of aggression on both sides of the tape. It's a baby price discovery, basically. So tempted to buy right here. That's my price action is saying get long, and then I'm seeing that and I was like, damn it. Yeah, that node definitely held. So that was a really sweet spot to scalp long. Go back and watch the recording of that as I was talking about it. That's a really good spot. You can see the lifts are working now. That's how we got away from that high volume node there. They're lift. Every time they lift, the buyers are coming up to them. The bid's coming up with them instead of getting slammed, or at least it was. Now it's starting to get slammed again. So let's watch that. Yeah, just watch the LTQs back and forth here. That's how you can see the battle unfolding. Yeah, right now it's getting absorbed again. So the limit sellers are in play right there at 38.5. It was really obvious right there. You could see, they literally sucked up every contract that was bought after that other push up. So let's watch it again right there. Watch where my pointer is. Right above where it's trading now, this spot right here. That's where there was a limit seller that pushed us down clearly because he just sucked up everything. Other people saw that and immediately we started seeing more selling. So let's watch it again right there. Okay, it's coming up to him again, right? See, that's the spot right there, 38.5, 38.25. That's where there's some aggressive sellers right now. And should be able to see that on the footprint too, but 30 minutes might not show it. Yeah, you can see them all right in there. Okay, so, and right in here. So, yep, it's clear. Lee's good at just seeing that as it's happening and adding up. I like to see it, playing out back and forth and not have to, watch the numbers go up or down. My arithmetic skills are good enough, but it's just an extra task in my brain I don't want to do. I want to watch the battle. And it also shows the inflection points really clearly when you do this, where somebody might be like right now, there was a big aggressive limit seller right on the bottom of that. So, whether he's moving down or just people are joining in or whatever, that was really clear right there too at 35, which again, it's a quarter. So that makes sense. It's typical. The quarters, 35, 37.5, 0, 0, 2.5. That's the quarters. Okay. So again, this spot right up here was really aggressively sold. That's right under 40. And any pushes up there so far there's been some joining of the selling aggression. I haven't seen anybody buying up and pushing into that. The sellers are totally running that show. And you can see, if you just look at the min-max delta, that's the same story. We're below min delta, and, the deltas are going by on the negatives. That was the only one right there that was positive. It's obviously getting sold. Is it getting absorbed is the question. I don't think so. I think I think there's a seller absorbing this, not a buyer. So let's see. There it's pushing down. So that thesis is holding. But again, I don't want to trade this. There's just too much action both directions, and it can change so fast. We've seen that a couple of times where, all it takes is a big sweep and all of a sudden the action's different. So 20 minutes to go to the bottom of the hour. And we'll wrap up right there because I don't think anything's going to change dramatically, but at least we'll see the IB at that point and see if anybody decides to get really aggressive right at the IB. I'm not going to go beyond that, though, because this could take all day to play out, or it might just stay in the middle all day. So, boy, I'd love to see the bottom fall out of RTY and YM right now. YM is starting to go down, but it's still the strongest of all of them. Well, they both are, I guess, YM and RTY. But, no, in terms of the pattern, they are. YM is the only one that's close to positive. RTY is almost as close now, though. So that's what I mean by all that. Volume is still pathetic, 753,000. Yeah, it's a little better than it was right before the open. There was a lot of volume right at the open. We can see that, but it's dying down again now. So we're still in pathetic mode in terms of volume. Really surprising for December. Not surprising given that I don't know any trade desk on the planet, with the exception of a couple of short hedge funds, that don't have big giant bonuses coming. So nobody is going to stick their neck out doing anything. They're all just deciding what exotic hypercar to buy. Did you end up getting that Yugo that you wanted, JVC?
Say what?
I was just seeing if you were listening. I picture you as the kind of guy that drives a Yugo or a Prius. No. What do you...
I drive a Kia.
Okay, yeah, I could see a Kia. Yeah.
But it's a Kia SUV. So
okay, well, they're good cars, yeah. Good, reliable. Best warranties in the business, yeah.
Yep, Hyundai and Kia, which are kind of the same company, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Incest.
Yep.
My car is in the shop getting all the rubber repaired underneath it because it's, like I said, it's literally brand new, but it's 15 years old. So all the boots on the axles and stuff, engine mounts, literal, all that stuff. So I've got this rental. It's a Q50 dual turbo, 3-liter dual turbo Infinity. That all-wheel drive. Is fun. That is fun. I brought that home in the rain last night on the road between Route 1 and Paso Robles 101.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was
felt like you were on rails, didn't it?
Oh yeah, and every now and then some idiot in a giant pickup truck raised up, from one of the farms there would come up behind me, and I was going. The speed limit's 55. I was going 60, and so at one point, this guy's like behind me, he's flashing his lights, and double yellow, no place, no passing signs everywhere. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? So finally I just said, all right, asshole, fuck it. Pardon my French. And I just hit it. And the thing was, on a wet turn, it was like rails, and it was at 90 in a second. I mean, he disappeared behind me. I couldn't even see him in the mirror anymore. I was just like, oh, that was just too much fun. But I could have got a wicked ticket. So got to make sure I don't do that very often. One of the first things you learn if you've ever raced anywhere in organized automobile or motorcycle race, particularly automobile, is that the average driver has such poor skills that they can't even save themselves, let alone not kill you. So as soon as you've raced, the minute you get back on the road, you start slowing down and getting really defensive because you realize how stupid everyone else is, because they just don't have any skills dealing with adverse weather. Los Angeles, the minute it rains, the oil's on the road, it becomes a skating rink, and there's people just racing to get to work, and they're just slamming into barriers everywhere. And it happens every time it rains. I'm just like, the people never learn,
Never.
But this was like that on Route 46. That's what, and I see the trucks all the time, and every now and then I see one flipped over, and anyway, he came back into my mirror a little bit later, and I let him go by where it was good to let it broken line, and he could see, and then we get to the stop sign at Route 1 to turn, and he's a grand total of 75 feet in front of me. I mean, after all that, after all his speeding, after he passed me, he sped in a dually, crew cab truck in pouring rain on a windy 1-lane road. I mean, just Darwin Award waiting to happen. And so then, of course, I get on 1 and I start heading back. And sure enough, there's a minivan that had passed me a lot earlier on 46, and he's slid off the road and he's up on 2 wheels against a tree. And it's just like, not a lot of damage. I was surprised, but the minivans and the SUVs and these big dual trucks, just think that, they feel more stable than they are. Do you have
nothing is stable on an oil slick?
Oh yeah, exactly. You have the Sportage. Is that the key you have?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice car.
It's a great car. I'm really happy with it.
Anyways, that's one thing I like about my kind of adopted Mercedes. It's a 4MATIC, so it's got that all-wheel drive too, and that it's not a rocket ship. It's not the AMG version. It's got a couple hundred horsepower. It's decent, but boy, I tell you, this Infiniti though, I think it's 325 horsepower, 340 horsepower. I had an M45 Infiniti when I lived in Denver, and I loved that. That was a rear wheel drive car though, kind of a hot rod. But this one, man, it sticks to the road really, really nicely. So anyway, hopefully I won't wreck it before I give it back and get my car back on Wednesday. Boy, so we're down right at the spot I was thinking I'd like to nibble long, and I may do it right now in a Mini. I just did. We're right at 29 here. I'm just going to look and see if I can get a scalp. 29.5. Let's see if we can just get a 6 or 8 tick scalp, just to kind of keep our brain warm on the idea that we're actually trading.
Check out the volume at the B period low too. 765 by 0.
Oh, look at that. Very pretty. And the price rejector is still below us. So yeah. So that's basically absorption, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Yeah, it's not huge, massive,
no, but it's significant.
Sticks out.
It's above the price rejector.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, again, could we go straight down? Yeah. But is this an interesting spot to nibble? Yeah, I'm nibbling. And again, I like to scale into my nibbles, because with micros, you never get a good entry anyway. So now I've got a 2-lot nibble. It's about to go profitable, and we'll see if we can catch a short squeeze here. I'm long from 28.5 with 2. That's in micros. And I've got the first target at 29.5. It traded 29. There's that 3-tick stuff again. So let's see if we can get that first one off at 29, and then we'll have a runner on the rest of it. And it's being litigated right here. You can see the battle. I mean, look at all of my 15 seconds. Okay, we got the first one. Now let's protect this. And if we catch it, great. Okay, so I've got a take profit under it at 28.75. I think it's about to get filled. It did. Okay. So now I added to it. That's a double. So now I've got another one, which is what I was trying to do. Sorry, I'm just not describing it. Okay, let's see if we can catch this bounce to 29, back to 30, and then I still have a runner it's holding, and that's why I added to it. Let's reset the footprint so we can watch the lifts. I like this long. I like it long lower too. I will add to this if it stays above 24.5. And I think we could catch a bit of a short squeeze here. So let's take this one off at 29.75, just in case that's the end of the run. Okay, we're getting some more downside momentum here. So there we go. There's the short squeeze trying to happen right there. Watch NQ. Watch that. We should get a pop. If that can hold, look out. We will go up there. They all go. Okay, get my first one off right there. All right, so now we've just got a 1. Our average is 28.5. It's profitable already here. It's profitable below or above 27.5. So that's how my average thing works there. And do I want to put a stop under this? Yeah, let's put a stop at 29, just lock it in. Yeah, we got filled. Okay, cool. So, we caught a nice, 3-point scalp, 6-tick scalp there. Let me look. No, actually, more than that. I got 7 ticks total on 2. So that's fine. I'll take it. But again, this area, it's clearly a nice little spot to try this, but, is it risky that it could continue down? Yeah. That's that over here. You can see that absorption on the footprint. It's hard to see the footprint because of the way it's centering, but it's right down here. It's not a huge amount, but it's 765 negative. So, basically that was somebody buying up everything that was getting sold. Again, if you're new to footprints and order flow, that's how you read that. Now it's coming down again. Let's see if he is still there, our limit buyer. And there's a price rejector right below it from the first period. So nope, 0 print. So that's the spot. Let's see if he holds. It went up a little bit and it held. So he sucked up some more. Will he keep sucking them up? Or they keep sucking them up, whoever that is. It's not necessarily one guy. And it worked. He held. So again, you could have scalped long right there. That's why you see a price rejector on the pullback. It's displaying that happened. And that's why it's a slightly different color. It's like cyan versus green. I'm using the stock emoji color scheme on that, I think, not the pale monochrome that Lee uses now. Although I don't remember if this is, I like it this way. I don't remember if that's the way it starts. I might have changed that too, but whatever. That's what my colors mean. Okay, so we're right at 32 here. Again, this could be a wicked short squeeze if it can get above here. But this is where I would be taking profits if I bought that down there. Because again, if it gets above here, it becomes a different game. But there is a price rejector at the other end. We're in the middle. So a nice, retracement to the middle off of that buying is the way I read that, not like get long at any cost. So hopefully that makes sense as well. All right, we got about 9 minutes left. Yeah, that spot held, and now we're going up some more. So the idea of buying down there, and I made a little money on it. I could have made more. Never say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but the idea was right. So the trading brain is in the zone, and that's all you want to do. Just keep reinforcing your zone. Don't worry about how much money you make on any given trade. You will always have opportunities to make more, to scale more. Give that time. Scaling is a learned skill that is completely separate from your edge, your Bubba. And it took me a long time to learn that. It took me like most of my 30s and 40s to really understand that. I just kept thinking, oh, my edge doesn't work anymore. No, it's the way you're scaling your edge that's not working. And separating those two things out, just understanding that they were different. When I first started thinking that way, this was like, my early 30s. So this was like 1990s. And yeah, early 1990s, right when the tech bubble was starting. It came right after that. And that was good because I scaled the tech bubble really well. And I had really screwed up some future scaling that I was trying to do in the early 90s. I had just started trading ES and SP then aggressively in the early 90s. SP is the old big contract. The ES is a mini. That was the full-size contract for S&P 500. Anyway, all right, we're getting a lot of two-way action up here right around 30, so this will be a good place to wrap our live session up shortly. So we have 7 minutes. I'm going to do Burning Desires once here because, as I said, I started this half hour early. We're going to wrap it up right on time, if not just a second before that, and maybe we'll let it show us the initial balance, and then we'll wrap it up. Because at that point, I think I'm going to go trade this a bit more, where I can pay more attention to what it's doing. That's it. Yeah, Andrew said that's the national driving culture summed up. Saving 30 seconds by weaving in and out of traffic. Yeah, it's funny. Once you have been in any sort of performance vehicle on a racetrack, you realize how dangerous that is among skilled drivers, all going the same direction in racing vehicles with racing reactions, So imagine now throw in an idiot in a truck who's holding a cigarette in one hand and his coffee in the other hand, and 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, and it's raining, And so you immediately understand the Darwinistic nature of the endeavor. And it's funny, I never thought that way until I started racing. The minute I did, I was like, whoa, I'm lucky I survive on the street, So anyway.
Mythbusters did a whole episode on whether it is worth it in any way, shape, or form to try to weave in and out to speed things along. And they did a trip from San Francisco to LAX.
Yeah.
And they did it 2 times. Once with cruise control in the right lane, just steady as she goes, and it takes as long as it takes. And then they did it again, getting there as fast as they possibly could, taking every opportunity to change lanes, merge, do anything to avoid traffic. And it came down to a difference of like a couple minutes or something ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. When I was doing my Uber driving in Santa Barbara, I used to do it around the university at UC Santa Barbara. And I frequently, particularly right after finals, I got runs down to LAX. And every now, the students were usually pretty cool. They would, either be on their iPods or sleeping in the back or talking. Every now and then I'd get, I could take a maximum of 4, and I'd have 4 and all their luggage, and they're trying to make a plane. Can you please go faster? And I was like, look, this is LA. I've lived here since I was 6. I've driven here for 40 years. The best thing we can do is just stay steady. Trust me. And, some of them, no, you could go that way past him. I'd be like, look. Anyway, it's funny because and every now and then, I'd say that. I'd say, okay, watch this guy passing me. Let's just, keep an eye on him. And, then we'd like change freeways and go like, another 45 minutes, and he'd be still 4 cars in front of me trying to do all that. It's mind boggling, but it's just human nature. It's fear and greed. It's exactly that. Yeah. Okay. Good question from Maria's phone. On behalf of Maria's phone. Yeah.
Too bad Maria couldn't be here, but her phone showed up.
But her phone's here. Yes, exactly. Can the opposite be true? Your edge is bad, but with scaling, you're getting lucky. Yes, that can be true. That's a very good question, Maria, and absolutely that could be true. However,
luck is always an option.
Luck's always an option. However, the way that'll manifest itself is, you might have a short streak now and then, of winners, but that will manifest itself in a P&L that's going up and down. The opposite will manifest itself in a skilled trader. The P&L will always more or less go one direction over time. And that's, whenever you see, if you want to know if somebody's a decent trader, forget their edge, any of their stuff, just ask to see their equity curve if they're willing to share it with you. What is their net equity over time? And that's really the answer. But that's a really good point. Yes, you could scale. If you're wrong and you scale into a trade at the right spot, that could fix it. But again, if you learn to do that really well, then that becomes a skill. So you totally nailed it, Maria. This is, if you don't have the right balance of edge and scaling and truly understand what your edge is and what your skills are, you could easily misinterpret scaling into a loser bailing you out as being that, and those are not the same thing. Because when I'm talking about scaling, I'm not talking about scaling a micro. I'm talking about, the trades where, I've got a mini on and I put on 3 more and then, maybe take 1 off and then put on 5 more. That's scaling. Anytime you get above 4 or 5 minis, the potential risk of any big move gets pretty significant in dollars. And then when you get way up, I remember when the biggest stuff I ever used to do, my favorite trade, I traded blocks of 50 YMs in the early 2000s. I loved YM because I could always game it by looking at the heat map. And that's why I scaled it. I would scale it on heat map trades, like, where everything's up, but YM is flat because Home Depot announced earnings. So I just put up the Home Depot chart, and the minute I saw buying, I'd scale in heavy on YM and, pick off ticks. And so you do the math, 50 lot there is a lot of movement in dollars. And, you get good at translating real dollars to monopoly dollars in your head. And that's a big chunk of scaling right there, is learning not to have bigger numbers make you fearful. Because the odds have not changed. If I'm in a micro and I'm looking at 3 ticks and that's a $3.75 profit, or I'm in minis and I'm looking at 100 of them and that's, $3,000, those are the same event from a statistics point of view. And yet your brain's like, no, that's $30,000. That's $3,000. That's $3. And, it's the same number. That's the point. To math, it's the same number. And that's why it's so difficult. So, but that's a really good observation, Maria's phone. So be sure and share the answer with Maria when you get a chance.
Yes, please do pass that along.
I'm sure you're knee deep in kids, so I totally understand what's going on there. I guess are they on Christmas break already, kids? Who has kids that can answer that? I just
Probably
visited. No,
early,
they're not. No. So next week, I guess, is when it starts. Yeah. Well, that's good. Then at least you can give them to somebody else for short periods of time if they're in school. Oh, look at that sweep down we just had in NQ. Is that going to break down the market right there? It sure looks like it's going to try. Ooh,
here comes the IB.
Here comes the IB. Yeah, so we've got a minute. Let me put the footprint back up. It looks like we want to have a reversal right now, or at least there's some few people trying to telegraph that. So we're just under the price rejector.
Boom.
Boom. Okay, so now we've got C period. Which way are we going to go? So there's a price rejector at the low IB. There is not that clean a top, but 0 by 10 isn't a bad place to start on A period at the top. So yeah, this could easily go either way. Could this be the day we don't get a break? I doubt it, but if they're far enough away, that's possible. We have a nice big range and we're in the middle of it. Let's see, 46.52, that's 20 points up. Going into FOMC tomorrow, is this going to stay this quiet the rest of the day? God, it's possible. We're right on the overnight range. Volume's drying up. All right, so that's one thesis, that we don't do either direction, and that happens. Now, if we're going to get one or the other, boy, a weak break of the low would be just the long of the day, wouldn't it, JVC?
It could be for sure.
Yeah, right. If let's say that price rejector gets pushed a bit and then, ultimately holds, a weak breakdown there. Ooh, that would be very, very interesting. That's the trade I really like today. If that happens, I will come in wicked with that, because if you're wrong, you'll be really wrong, obviously. It'll plunge into the teens really fast if that doesn't hold. That's a very interesting setup going forward for the rest of the day. I like that one a lot. Boy, at the other end, I don't know what I would do. Yeah, a weak break at the top. I might short that too. There's a price rejector from overnight right above. But look where the overnight high is, guys. It's all the way up there. That's what, 70. I can't even see it on this stupid Sierra crap. Where's that? I can't even see this number right here. What is that? Let me go look in Ninja, which lets me see such things. Okay, it looks like it is at around, what is that, 76 and a half-ish? So that's about right. Yeah, so looks like it's a little higher than that here. Gosh. Yeah, I can't even tell. But anyway, somewhere up there, that's an interesting idea too, a weak break up there to short. It's trying to get a price rejector here on C period though. Yeah, and this is anybody's bet, anybody's guess here on this one. If you have an opinion, share it. I'd be interested. So Robert says, or the IB break may not happen in C period. Oh, I'm not talking about C period, Robert. I'm talking about for the entire day. That's my view. Is, again, I do this slightly differently than Lee and other hardcore. I don't care if it happens right away because I'm a scalper. So I just watch for it all day. It's my computer's always on, and if it happens, I get an alert to my phone if I'm in another part of the house or whatever. So yeah, no, I was not talking about in C period. I doubt it'll happen in C period. We're way too far away. What I'm saying is, I think it's what I just said. I think is likely for the day. At some point, it might get a weak break. Put it this way: the sooner that happens, the more likely I would be to fade it. If it happened early, I'd fade it. If it happened late, I'd be reluctant to fade it. Hopefully, that makes some sense too. I'm hesitant always to fade late in the day moves because, particularly on Friday, when there's no next day. But yeah, this is just, well, now it's coming back down to 29.30 again. That's a very interesting spot. Let's watch that one. I'll leave the room open another couple of minutes and let's watch it. What happens when it tries to retest this area? That could be another interesting spot to nibble long. So it's got to stop going down so fast before I'm going to think that way. Okay, it did it right there. It just slowed down. Let's watch it. We're sideways on all of them, right at the bottom of the range. It's a low risk place to nibble long, but it's coming down really aggressively. So I want to see if I can catch an inflection point. Okay, I got one at 32.5. Again, I'm just going to see if I can grab ticks to see if I'm on the right side of the tape here. So I've got a target at 3 ticks for that one. Let's see what happens. I will definitely, buy lower down, like I'd buy there, but I don't think it's going to get there so fast. I think this will fill first. Otherwise, I wouldn't be trying it. But again, I'm looking to scale in here. And if the bottom falls out, I'll get out of the way. And that's why I'm doing it in micros. It's getting bought right here again. Look at the lifts. Let's see if that can hold us. There's a high volume node building right here. Right in the middle, it's filling in this low volume node. This is the high volume I'm leaning on. If it blows below 27.5, I'll get out of the way, but I'll add to it down to there. It looks like I'm about to get filled here in a second. Nope. Okay, I'm going to nibble right there. Yeah, didn't get it. I tried to hit the bid. All right, there we got filled. All right, so the 3 tick. So again, I do this to confirm that my read is good, and pick those 3 tickers off. Then I know I'm on the right side of the tape. But again, this area has to hold. I will let that one fill for sure. Might take another one a little lower down. Oh, right there on 27.50 is a good spot. Let's see if we can catch another little bounce here. Let it come to you. Don't chase it. The first one was just a probe. Now I want it to come to me, which it may not. If this area holds, I might not get ever filled down here. Cool. Thank you, Robert, for the follow-up. All right. Yeah, no, it's going to hold here. So anyway, these may end up getting filled, and I could catch a big bounce or not. But all that said, we are now 5 minutes past. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up, JVC, unless you have something you want to say.
I do not. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, I'm going to watch this for just one more second. We might get one more trade here in front of everybody. So let's see. I've got an order 29, order 27.75. And, I'm not using a bracket. So once they fill, I'll throw up a target. And I'm just seeing if I can catch a high volume reversal without a lot of risk, because if the low goes, it should be pretty clear that that's happening. And 61-0 on this rotation with a price rejector above. So it should at least come down to me. I'm looking to get long in here somewhere, right? High volume node right there. That's what I'm leaning on. That filled in an overnight high volume node, or low volume node rather. So there's clearly volume, forming from both overnight and the sessions right in here. You can see all of it kind of. So that's why that's a good place to try this idea of, a sweep down would fill me, and I could certainly grab some ticks off that the other way quickly, unless the bottom just falls out, in which case, that's a totally different event, and we'll trade that differently, and we'll join that at some point if it really gets going down. And if it's suddenly accelerated toward me here, I'd cancel this. That's the other reason I'll get out of the way of some. If we're at 32, if just suddenly we're at 29 and heading down with lots of volume, I'm going to hit the cancel, because you just don't want to get in the front of a freight train. Even if you're scalping, you want the freight train to pause before you jump in. But obviously that's not happening. Every push down is getting bought. There's a nice little clean bottom down here right now at 30. So this if we get here, this will probably work. But who knows when and if we'll ever get there. So let's go ahead and wrap this guy up. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. JVC, I'm doing Burning Desire's last call. Anything you want to add?
Nothing from me. Good session. Thanks.
Thank you. See you guys later. Bye-bye.